Yes, so we are live. A very good morning to all the viewers, and welcome back to another episode of a Disruptive Education Movement. I'm your host, Preena, the ambassador of change, and you are watching the hashtag Disruptive Education Movement that was initiated by our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. Well, today I have with me Mr. Sivakumar, who is an experienced trainer for teachers as a CBSE resource person. Highly interested in creating an eco-friendly environment. He is a motivating mentor for young adults. He is a person with multi-talented in various fields and well focused on developing a good learning environment as an educator. Well, with his 22 years of experience, he has been contributing highly in this sector, education sector, and well, if you talk about him further, his optimistic thoughts have made him a mentor as well as a counselor for young adults, as I told you. His career graph reveals his transformation from a dedicated teacher in Lawrence School, Lovedale, to a leading principal in Mahatma Gandhi International School, Port Blair. And today he has joined us to talk on value based education, the need of the hour. A very warm welcome to you, sir, on this platform of GETI. We are
Thank
very
you so
happy to
much.
have you, and I would request you to please take over the session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. In fact, it's a pleasure, being here with Getty. I have already done a session with y'all, and it's a pleasure again to be with you. And thank you so much for those nice words. In fact, it makes me feel very positive. Thank you so much. And I'm here to talk about value-based education for today. Where does it start? Where does it start? Does it start from home? Does it start only at school? I think we have to go back to ages that we started our value based system itself. Now, what is value based education? Let me give a small uh, definition for it. Check, it is my definition. Check whether it suits you. Value based education is when you undersign everything at school, in school. Example, the policies of the school, and everything for that matter, with a set of universal, positive human values. I repeat, you understand everything from the policies of the school, the relationships, everything, but with a set of universal, positive human values. There are limited values like the greed, envy, and tolerance, intolerance. But when you when you spiral them down, you can make everything possible. Now, let us inculcate these positive values like the tolerance, love, justice, altruism. Let it be thrown open to the students. I think they'll start following it. And for that, like, and for that, like Aristotle said, education is a moral pursuit in which everybody should flourish. I think when you and I think about the others, and when you think about how sensitive they would become in your place, then I think we have inbuilt values. To flourishing humanity is what education means. If I have to flourish, you also have to flourish. That value should be inbuilt in each and every one. When is it possible? For that possibility, I think it has to start from home. It has to start from home. We have a culture of more than 5,000 years. The human have existed more than 5,000 years. Haven't they brought down the values? Haven't they taught us the way of living? I think yes, they have taught us. It has been taught from home, from school, and everywhere else. Where is it? Where is it? Have we missed? I think we have not missed. I take it in the positive way. If you look at a child and take him or her as she is or he is, I think there we make a small mistake. But when you start looking at a particular child in how she could be or he could be, I think that's when the real value begins. We then start teaching them the values. We then start modeling values. I think it is important to be modeling values than teaching them. How long can we keep teaching and preaching and not modeling? I have 7 pillars of value based education. I'm just going to explain the 7 pillars, what I have thought, and let's see whether it suits all of us. The 7 pillars are, the first one to be in my priority is modeling. As an educator, as a parent, I think we have to model all the values. We have to check within ourselves whether we have done the modeling, rather finding fault with others. As I told you, the second thing is inner curriculum. How have we modeled ourselves? If we see something wrong, or if we try to do something wrong to others, will I feel okay? Should be the question. If I don't feel okay with that, then I should not be doing it. That means my inner curriculum should be so strong in values that I will not try to hurt others. I will not be insensitive towards others' feelings. The third one is reflection. What we do, we don't realize. But when somebody else does it for us, we try asking a lot of questions. I asked a small child in the school, how do you manage anger? I know there are a lot of people who will irritate you. How will you manage anger? She thought for a while and then she said, I think about peace. This is what is the reflection. This is what is reflection. How do we have reflective thoughts? What would happen right now if I do this action? We should reflect on the process of happening in the later stages. I think reflection is the third pillar that I have noted. The fourth one is atmosphere. Atmosphere both at home as well as at school. The school should be an environment where it can teach the values for children in a calm and composed way. It should be a place where everything should be purposeful. It should be a place where everything the child should feel is purposeful. This calm and serene environment will teach the child how purposeful education is for her in the school. So the environment at home as well as at the school should be calm and purposeful. Now, let me talk only about the curriculum. The curriculum of schools should be explicit and implicit. Now, the ethics should be the talk. We have to actually inbuild the ethics which are present in the lessons that are being prescribed by any syllabus. How do we do that? How functional are we in making the curriculum so effective and value based? Every lesson comes with a value, every activity comes with a value. What in the curriculum or the lesson do we search? If we start searching in every part of the book, you have a value to teach to the children, or you have a value to model for yourself. A value to model for yourself, and then to be imbibed the qualities of how you have modeled by the students also makes a lot of difference in the children. Next one is the leadership. The sixth pillar is the leadership that I'm going to talk about. Leadership doesn't belong to one. A curriculum, a value based curriculum, should make each and every one a leader of his own value. Now, leadership cannot be only one. For every part of the activity which is followed and done by the school, I think it needs leaders. Not that one leader can do everything. Everyone should feel that he is a leader. And he who is the one who would lead whatever the activity is given. This value of leading something in a group or in the school will teach him how important he or she is in the school. Now, this leadership quality doesn't belong to one, as I told you. It belongs to each and every one in one way or the other. The last, but not the least, the seventh pillar that I'm going to talk about is ethical language. The language that we speak in school is heard, listened, and measured. Heard by the students and all the staff there, listened carefully because students will model whatever that we have done, that we have spoken, and our actions. So it's very important for us to watch every word that we utter. When we talk about ethical vocabulary, I think we need to be very conscious on what we speak. And as we always say, cameras which are present there are not real cameras. The students' eyes and the ears are very powerful cameras that are instilled. We have to be very careful. Watch our actions and watch our words. That if we start building in, I think the seventh pillar that I call ethical vocabulary should be maintained in school campus, that will instill a bigger value in each and every child. Now, we have a big culture. We have a big culture, 5,000 years of what we have as the humanity exists. Down the traditions, what have we learned? Apart from that, in schools, in colleges, it's not mathematics, it's not language, it is not science, which are important. Along with them stands the value. There is a lot of research. There is a lot of presentations, researches coming down and talking about science development and what's great in the world. But I think down the line, we should always think that we should always consider that value-based education only can make a man-making education. With this, I have four more things to tell you. I'll add that and then we will conclude. Now, when I'm talking about these four things which I said that will be added, these are Elements of inner curriculum. The elements of inner curriculum, because the inner curriculum that we were talking about, it groups down into four different ways. Those four different ways, I'll just try to explain in the way that, like I have noted down. Elements of the inner curriculum. The first one is the wonderful work of neurobiology that every single person has and believes in, works with. The second one is the psychotherapy. And as I told you, all the brilliant educational practices that are in the world should not be suppressed just because of political dogma or the ideology, but they should always come into existence with a lot of value, because everyone who had worked behind the brilliant practices of education had the strict following of values. The fourth one is wisdom of humanity that exists for more than so many years. We need to consider them, take the right one, where we make the best out of for the human beings to flourish in this world. Education should be making each and every one value based, strong in their values, and nevertheless, it will always make the humanity flourishing. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for highlighting these points. Value-based education is the need of the hour. Students are the future of a country, and the future of a country depends on the values imparted to them to be successful in life. And value education was studied, and taught since ancient times. It has talked in Ramayana about Lord Ram, how he agreed to whatever was said by his father to go and leave the house for 14 years. So every where we have talked about moral values, every part of our life is governed by moral values. I would say, like if we talk about the very basic things, it could be like not to jump the red light at the traffic signal, or if we talk about not to hurt someone or be mean to anyone, or do not earn money by wrong means. Every aspect of our life is somewhere connected with values,
Values.
moral
Yes.
values.
Yes.
And I think there is no other age best to teach values than the childhood itself. When we
Exactly.
can begin from the school itself, we can, integrate the values with our chapters, and the way you explained in 4 steps about the inner curriculum. That was really
Yes.
beautiful. Thank you so much. I think mere teaching, learning, and improving knowledge, skills, without building the character, it won't take the child anywhere.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
We need to, add in our education system.
Yes.
It is the need of the hour. And someone wise quoted that even hundred of degrees from the best universities of the world cannot compensate for the lack of values
Yes.
and character.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So
You said it right. You said it right.
yes, sir. The world direly needs people with high values, and I think from the
Yes.
school we can begin. From here on, we can start imparting this. And the important part is, as you said, that students learn whatever they hear. The cameras, the way you explained about the cameras concept, yes, they do listen. They learn everything from their environment, whatever is being said, whatever is being presented in front of them. That's what they are learning, they are imparting. We have a
Yes.
question here, and that's just how can a student learn these values in schools and home? I think you just explain about how we can do that. The question is by Samapati Banerjee.
Ah, yes, ma'am. They are asking, what question is that? May I know? Could you
Yeah,
repeat the
it's on
question?
your screen. How can a student learn these values in schools and home?
Yeah.
I,
As I told you, I think, like the modeling is very important.
yes,
Like
sir.
you'll have to be conscious in whatever that you're doing. Even at home, when you say don't do it, children keep doing it. It doesn't mean that they
Right.
wantedly do it. In fact, like they don't know. You need to explain it to them. You feel that, like as a parent, even I feel that, like why should I explain it? If I ask him not to do that, he should not do it. It's not like
Mm.
that. They wanted an explanation. They wanted to
Yes,
know why they shouldn't be doing it, but they still do it. In fact, like it is our duty to model that first, and it is our duty to
absolutely.
tell them, talk to them, that it is very important to not to do that, because like this will be the consequence. I think like that is when you should be telling the sorry talking to the children. Second thing is that like when you modeling is very important. Why am I telling this modeling is very important is that when there is a person whom you do not want to visit comes at the doorstep, and you tell your child, tell mom is not there or dad is not there, then like you inbuild something wrong in the child. You tell him not to speak a lie, but like you force him to tell that. But like that contradiction is always there in the psyche of the child. The child
Yes,
always thinks that why is that this is happening. She told me not to tell a lie, but she's forcing me to do it, or he or she is forcing me to do it. I'm not going to be gender biased, please don't misunderstand for that. But like we could, just because it just comes
yes,
out, I'm telling you this. It can be a he or she, it can be the father or the mother. So like it is very important for us to model. So it's very see, we should be very conscious, because there is a third eye also. There is a third eye also, where who's watching, and as a child learns only from you from the beginning. At least for 3 years he's with you, and he only learns through your actions. It's not that he
yes.
understands your language. More than he understands his language, he understands
Mm-hmm.
your behavior, your attitude, your behavior.
Yes,
So it's very important for us to model. For being conscious is very, very important. But at the same time, at schools, what do you do? At schools, I'm answering this question at schools. At schools, every lesson, that's what I told, every lesson has a value in it, has a value. The teacher has to search the value in that particular lesson. Maybe it can be science, it can be social studies, it can be English, it can be the languages like Hindi, Sanskrit, whatever it is. There is a story, there is a moral, there is a value behind each and every chapter that is being given by any book. You cannot say there is no value in this particular chapter or a poem or whatever that you are going to teach the child. So each chapter will carry a moral value. Every teacher should understand the moral value behind that particular poem or the lesson, and then teach him accordingly. The child should in the end guess what she is trying to tell in future. The child also notices, after learning the lesson, the child also notices what the teacher does when she moves around the school campus. So it is like the powerful camera which is always behind you. The models, when they walk on the ramp, like the cameras flash like that. So it is
yes, yes,
around, if at all you have 500 children, then you have 1,000 eyes watching you. So you should be very careful in the way that you carry yourself from the time that you entered the school till you exited. So it's very important. So when you become very conscious of the values that you're teaching inside the classroom and the way that you behave, then I think like moral values are grasped. It is not learned from the books, it is actually
yes.
grasped. Most of
Grasp.
them are grasped. Yes, I think I
Absolutely.
have
Very
answered the
beautifully
question.
explained. Yes, I think beautifully explained how we can actually work on it. Mere teaching, learning, and improving the skills, as I said, without building the characters of, it's not going to contribute in the
Yes,
development of children. But we must, help them to understand who are we going to be in future,
yes,
and that's the right way to lead our lives. Being a role model, that's the, I think, magic, how you are going to actually teach them
exactly,
without even
exactly.
imposing or forcing them. We really need to give them explanation. As you said, we need to tell them that why you should not do this or why you should
Yes,
do this. They connect
exactly.
well, they understand the core, why am I being asked to do it or not to do it.
Yes,
I think that's beautiful. Overall, I think it was a very beautiful session, sir. As I'm saying again and again, I totally enjoyed, thoroughly enjoyed, because the topic was about value education and the way you explained was to the point. I hope the viewers also enjoyed. And definitely you can share this with all your known ones, where you can actually use it as a motivational dose for people. It was very inspiring.
Thank
So
you
I would
so
like
much.
to
Thank you so
thank you,
much.
sir. Thanks a lot for taking out time today and again joining us on this platform. It's an
Thank you
honor
so
to have
much
you once
to
again.
Getty. In fact, like it's a pleasure being always there with them. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir. Thanks,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Take care. Stay safe. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.